I'd like to order some food for delivery. It's chow time.
Sorry.
Video review. I'm better than you. We're better than Siskel and Ebert too.
Oh man, yes, yes, yes. Oh baby. Look at those moves. He's dodging, he's ducking. They're not gonna put a finger on him. He's got the incredible juking maneuvers. Oh man, he's incredible. Yes.
Who's
Yes.
winning?
Oh man, it's pretty much all tied up. Too close to tell, too close to call. They've been going at it all day long, knee deep in the trenches, covered with sweat and grime. One side's gonna collapse any second now. Oh baby!
How much money you got on this game?
I got my usual $50 on it, man, and I'm rooting for the home team. Go, man, go!
Has it been blood and guts?
The blood is gonna start flying any second. Oh, there's gonna be the ultimate confrontation. It's coming right now. Oh boy, this is big. This is big.
Tom.
Yes.
Tommy. Huh? You ever think you might be taking the O.J. Simpson trial a little bit too seriously?
You don't think it'll go on strike, do you? OJ!
Hey, I don't kill people.
Hi, I'm Tom Wilson.
And I'm an individual who thinks O.J. Simpson is guilty as sin. And this is CHOWTIME!
Video review. And I'm a reviewer that believes a man is innocent until proven guilty. And OJ, I hope you're innocent.
But we're about to prove you guilty of bad acting. Anyway, today's a special episode coming at you. We have, as you can ascertain, an O.J. Simpson episode featuring 4 of the movies that O.J. Simpson's been in.
All right.
Yes, sir. We've got a 1974 film, The Towering Inferno, a 1978 film, Capricorn 1, a 1979 British film entitled Firepower, and finally a 1988 film, The Naked Gun, from the Files of Police Squad. And Tom, what is the first flicko?
Well, the first flick we're looking at this week, America, is The Towering Inferno, otherwise known as one of the disaster classics from the early 70s. If you remember Airport and Poseidon Adventure, well, we went right to the heart of the matter this time. Towering Inferno.
Irwin Allen, right? That's
Exactly. It's directed by Don Gillerman, and it's got an all-star cast. We're talking about Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, O.J. Simpson, Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire, William Holden. The whole world's in this picture.
Oh yeah, the list goes on and on.
All of a sudden, a fire begins, and there's thousands of people trapped in this high-rise.
What do you know?
Steve McQueen's the fire marshal. Will he save the day? That's the purpose of this flick-up! Anyway, we're going to go right in and take a look at the first scene.
Down. Stay low. Call an ambulance for this man. Damn it, man, get on the ball. Call an ambulance. I want everybody off this floor.
What about the fire department?
They're on their way. Get that ambulance. Give me a hand. Let's get him in the elevator. All right, try not to touch him. Let's try to get him by his belt.
Well, this is 81. We've had an accident up here. A man's been burned. Get an ambulance.
Alrighty, Kalamazoo. In this next scene, Steve McQueen, the fire chief, approaches William Holden, the owner of this new tower, and tells him he must get his special building opening party of 300 people out because there's a fire and it's coming at them rapidly. So, ba-dum-bump, let us analyze.
Oh, now, just how bad is it? It's a fire, mister, and all fires are bad. Well, now,
I don't believe that you're familiar with the many modern safety systems we have designed into this building. We've got them all.
All right, it's your building, but it's our fire. Now let's get these people the hell out of here.
Now, I don't think you're listening, Chief. There's no way for a fire on 81 to reach up here, not in this building.
Okay, I'll do it. Hold it.
The mayor's out there. Do you want me to pull rank on you?
When there's a fire, I outrank everybody here.
Critique time on CHOWTIME, the Towering Inferno. Well, what did I think of this? I think this is the king of the disaster epic flicks of the 1970s. It's got the strongest cast, it's got a tediously long plot, but still, the action flies and there's some good performances all around. The Towering Inferno? Hey America, take a look at it. It's not just for 3 a.m. late night viewing anymore. Anyway, the one thing I love about this film, America, is it introduces the usual superficial characters that we saw in The Love Boat and Fantasy Island, you know? But in this movie, in a black comic twist, most of them, after being introduced and just being subtly annoying on camera, meet horrifying, grisly, accidental deaths.
This is true.
And so it is something of a little different twist. There's lots of humor in the Towering Inferno. Not necessarily intentionally, but as we've said on CHOWTIME, it's funny now. And that's all that matters. On a scale of 0 to 10,
With decimals.
I give it a 7.4.
All right, dig it. I can respect that. It does start a little slow and 70s cheesy, but it quickly picks up, and it builds into a partially credible, definitely exciting movie about disaster and how different people deal with it. And I liked it. I love the ideology of an all-star cast.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, there's a star.
It's true.
I dig it. Steve McQueen is superb. My God, he's a great, underplayer. No, it's really, that guy has got it down, the fine art of subtlety in acting. He was a great actor.
It's true.
William Holden is also excellent. Richard Chamberlain sucks. Sorry, and so does Faye Dunaway. Paul Newman's not as good as he usually is, but he's still entertaining.
Yeah, he's okay. Just okay.
OJ, once again, he has a tiny role in this movie, and he's adequate.
He's pretty good.
It's all right.
Not too bad.
I would say this movie is a predecessor to both Backdraft. The main storyline in both of those movies is about the courage of firefighters. And this movie is also a predecessor of Die Hard. Trapped in a giant building and dealing.
Right.
It's better than both of those films. And now, don't get me wrong here at the end. This flick is not brilliant. In fact, it's Hollywood cliche throughout most of it, and it definitely has a bad Hollywood formula ending. But I enjoyed it. And I give it on a scale of 0 to 10, a 6.75.
Sounds you liked it more than me, but I gave it almost an extra point. Watch that flick, The Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
You heard it on CHOWTIME. Find the Joje.
We will find George. We will find him. We checked his office now. Oh, my God. Does George asleep? George. George. That's George!
I give it a 7.3 on crash time.
All right. Next up on the on the block of time is Capricorn 1, a 1978 film directed and written by Peter Hyams. It's starring Elliot Gould, James Brolin, OJ, Hal Holbrook, and others. Karen Black, Reba Vaccaro.
And Telly Savalas.
And Telly. This movie is about the government feigning a trip to Mars. They're covering it up. It doesn't really happen. They pretend to send 4 astronauts to Mars.
They fake a landing.
They fake a landing, they fake the whole spiel, and the poor astronauts don't know about it until it's happening.
Crazy.
And Jojo, what is the first scene? Thanks, Jojo. Love you, babe. You're beautiful.
Jack? Jack, it's Betty.
Hey, Betty. How are you?
You look fine.
Thank you. You know, we can't see you up here, but you sure sound terrific.
I miss you. So do the kids.
Thank you. I miss them, too, more than you all know.
Peter? It's Sharon.
Told you never to call me here.
All right, the next scene we're going to look at. Hal Holbrook is the head of NASA, the head of the entire space program. He's an evil man. He's in charge of this entire cover-up. In this scene, he reminds the astronauts, do what I say, or you'll never see your love once again. Without further ado, let's check it out.
think you're going to get away with this?
Well, I don't know. It's a chance. You have to help.
What do you mean, I have to?
You have to help.
What if I don't?
Please. Don't put me in a corner.
You're crazy. You know that? You know that? You're crazy. You've got us in the middle of this nut house and you don't want to be put in a corner?
Your families.
What about our families?
1978's Capricorn 1. It's an okay but ultimately implausible movie. It's a great concept for a film, but it's semi-successfully pulled off.
Very creative.
Great concept. Fun chase scenes, adequate acting, and again, cool plot idea. It helps move it along to a decent climax. However, there are too many holes in the story and problems with realism to get a high mark. Special kudos to Hal Holbrook as an effectively slimy government type.
He's great.
Sam Waterston sucks. Oh, he's a class clown astronaut type.
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's the thing. And OJ's barely in this picture. In fact, not since Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters. He was the fourth wheel in Ghostbusters,
right,
as someone has such a tiny, non-functional role.
And he has third billing on the film.
Yeah. I would give this movie a 5.25.
All right, there you have it. Joe, I agree with pretty much most of what you said. I thought it was a very creative idea, faking a Mars landing, the whole corrupt government, but it was kind of underdeveloped.
Right.
Relatively simple-minded. You didn't mention Elliot Gould as a big role in this film.
What did you think of him?
Good reason not to mention Elliot Gould. It's the end of the Elliot Gould era in the United States. That fascination with Tweety Boy is over.
Wait a minute, you said I remind you.
Never mind. Well, you do remind me of Elliot Gould during his celeb period.
Oh, okay.
Or before celeb period.
What?
Anyway, picture is kind of superficial. They don't really develop it that much. And at the very end, there's a flaw. Inside the warehouse, we won't go into too much detail, Elliot Gould stumbles upon this massive evidence.
Well, yeah, right.
Remember at the end there?
Yeah.
You know, he's inside the warehouse looking around.
Oh, right.
And like, you think they would have cleaned that up, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get the feeling. We don't want to ruin it for you.
There's actually a lot of that in it.
But mediocre sci-fi film, good concept, poorly developed. It's an okay watch on a Sunday night. I give it a 6.6. Don't go overboard for it. You heard that, John?
What's with the knife, Tom?
All
right. Time out. That's tacky, man. I've never seen you with a knife like that. You're doing that just to pass another tacky, crappy thing about O.J. Simpson and the whole trial.
Hey, wait a minute!
There's no excuse for that knife. You're cutting away now, man.
I was going to add mayonnaise. Okay, all right.
I mean, how dare you? How dare you have a prop like that just to push O.J. Simpson? I think that's in really poor taste. You know what I'm saying?
I apologize, America.
Anyway, Tom, what's next on the chopping block?
The next movie on the chopping block, America, is a film called Firepower. It's a foreign film, a British film. It's an action-adventure film. It's also got an all-star cast. It's got Sophia Loren.
Woo!
James Coburn. Vincent Gardenia. Eli Wallach. And O.J. Simpson.
Ew.
What's this movie all about, Jojo?
Yeah, please tell me.
This movie is all about Carl Stegner, who is the third richest man in the world. He's wanted by the U.S. government. He's a huge, powerful man. He lives on a secluded fortress on the exotic Caribbean island of Antigua. And this movie is about James Coburn being hired by the government to bring this man to justice. And he's got O.J. Simpson and Sophia Loren to help him along.
It's a grab. Carl Stegner. Ever hear of him?
Carl Stegner? Well, my mother's child never was too bright. What's the wages?
Think of a number.
$100,000. You pay expenses. I guess I can tell you now. I ought to win for half that amount.
Well, I guess I can tell you now. I'd have paid twice that amount.
Hey there. All right.
Alrighty, in this next scene, James Coburn bulldozes the entire house to smithereens and shoots everyone, or something very floppy like that.
He's a sharpshooting bulldozer man.
you're making a terrible mistake.
It's time to critique Firepower. Well, it's not an American film, so we can blame this on the British. Anyway, Firepower. It's an action-adventure, muddled,
Oh, shoot! Use my word. Go ahead.
poorly edited, never-ending mess.
Oh,
This thing is a disaster.
Damn, I
it's
agree.
a disaster. Unbelievably
bites.
awful. I must have fallen asleep 3 or 4 times while watching it. Only thing I can say about this film is that Victor Mature, our old hero,
Oh, yeah, him.
he's got a cameo at the end of the movie. He says, I believe, exactly 1 line, and he's the best thing in the picture.
And he's got a bad toupee, too.
He's doing all right. Anyway, Sophia Loren's getting old, James Coburn's getting burnt, and this is actually O.J. Simpson's biggest part. In all honesty, America, he's not so bad in this picture. Anyway, I have to say that on a scale of 0 to 10, I give this baby a 3.4.
3.4. Well, this muddled mess goes on and on. A muddled mess, to use both your words, with plot twists at every turn that don't make any sense.
You got that right.
A big problem with this movie is it's about the super rich from the Caribbean. This guy Stesner is the 3rd richest guy in the world,
Right.
and yet it's such a low-budget picture that everything looks cheap and shoddy.
Right, right.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, so they all live in a gigantic Holiday Inn or in a condo lodge. Oh.
Yeah, it's really bad. James Coburn's kind of likable. Vincent Gardenia's okay, and OJ's good. OJ's
Right.
pretty good in this.
Right.
Sophia Loren sucks, as does just about everyone else in this bad flicko.
Really true.
There's a good line in this movie. One of the characters says, the only virtue of the stupid is they don't live long. I like that line. But anyway, while this movie isn't too offensive and can be entertaining in very brief moments, ultimately it sucks. And I give it a 3.
Don't watch it, America.
Ever.
You heard it on CHOWTIME.
Always.
Ladies and geraniums, it's now time for the beverage review here on CHOWTIME. Joje, I've got a clear malt beverage with natural flavors here.
A unique alcohol beverage.
My, let us try. I'm still breathing. Interesting, it doesn't seem to be seltzer.
Doesn't seem to be Zoda.
It's definitely not Zier.
It ain't zipping up.
9 snaps.
Well, America, it's hard to say exactly what there is, but there is one thing that we can tell you, without a doubt, this beverage definitely sucks!
And now it's time for our last review of the evening. Except, of course, the food. And this is The Naked Gun, from the files of Police Squad, a 1988 film which holds a credential as a first in cinematic history.
Oh, really?
This is the first movie I've ever seen, and I believe it's the first movie, period, that ever took a failed TV series, Police Squad, although it definitely has a cult following, and it turned it into a hit money-making movie.
Right.
It's a comedy. It's from the same people who brought you Airplane, David Zucker and his brother Jerry and Jim Abrahams. And it's
Right.
starring Leslie Nielsen and OJ and John Houseman and even Reggie Jackson, as well as others. And that's it. It's a very wacky comedy about police in LA. Alright, this first scene we're going to show you is O.J. Simpson playing a bumbling cop trying to apprehend a gang of bad guys on a ship. So let us analyze in whatever detail you want to here on CHOWTIME.
Police! Throw down your guns! Kill him. Oh, no!
Alright, ladies and antelopes. In this next scene, we're going to look at, from The Naked Gun, Some bad things have happened to O.J. Simpson. He's now in the hospital trying to recover from some injuries. He's a valued member of Police Squad, and Leslie Nielsen is going to crack the case, and he is going to hunt down the evil crime lord responsible for this. Won't go into much detail, but it's played by Ricardo Montalban. Anyway, in this scene we're about to look at, Leslie Nielsen is out on a ledge of a very tall building. He's got some real problems, but he's going to try and work it out. There's a little sexual innuendo in this scene. We hope that no one's offended, but we felt the laughs were well worth it. Anyway, let's now take a look as Leslie Nielsen goes up to an average everyday housewife and terrorizes her with a concrete dildo.
Well, I think this is a hilarious movie. It's full of great spoofs, great impersonations, good slapstick humor. I think that Leslie Nielsen gives, with his deadpan performance, one of the great comedic performances in history. Supporting cast, especially George Kennedy, is very funny. O.J. Simpson's good. He's funny. He shows good physical body language. I thought he was good. I got mildly bored with this movie in the last scene, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. I give it an 8, and I recommend seeing it at a night when you're in the mood to laugh. And that's how I feel.
Okay, The Naked Gun, 1988 comedy, super slapstick. Well, Joe, I gotta say, I agree with most of it. Slapstick, not usually my favorite, but this stuff's pretty funny. Pretty quickly moving. Leslie Nielsen's great.
He's amazing.
You know, I mean, I haven't seen this kind of deadpan since we had, you know, Abbott with Abbott and Costello.
Right.
You know, there's a kind of straight man. God, he's really funny.
But somehow he's Abbott and Costello, like rolling
yeah,
up into
he
one.
does a little bit of everything. Supporting characters, you know, less talented than himself, than Leslie Nielsen, such as Ricardo Montalban, Priscilla Presley, they don't get in the way.
Right.
They know their limitations.
They're funny, yeah.
And O.J. Simpson, focus on O.J., he's okay. The physical comedy is right there, and he's trying, you know, and he's got some good facial expressions, it's all right. An 8 you gave it, Joe?
Yeah.
A comedy?
Yeah.
Superficial without depth?
Sure, hey, makes me laugh.
That shows just going a little too far with the whole movie review thing. To give something like this an 8, to be that explicit, Joe, I give it a 7.9. Because I'm a man that can keep myself under control and look at things objectively. Anyway, this movie's got laughs, laughs, laughs. It does fall a little bit apart at the end, but who cares? It's a kind of movie with the one-liners and the visual humor and all the slapstick is the star, and the plot plays second fiddle.
Yeah, I know.
You know, the plot is just like an afterthought. But don't worry about it, it's a lot of fun. Watch it now. You heard it on CHOWTIME! It's time for the food review here on CHOWTIME. Wouldn't you love some delicious baklava? Anyway, we've got some Turkish delights tonight here, Jojo. We went to the finest Turkish restaurant we could find, and we found some delicious food. I've got some chicken, some...
I got the chicken.
Oh, you got the chicken?
Yeah, you've been eating my chicken. I only noticed there's one piece left.
I missed a piece?
All right.
Oh, well, anyway, chicken, lamb, Turkish yummies, and baklava.
And an amazing eggplant salad.
Listen, we've said some good things about food in the past. We said some bad things. This food is great. This restaurant is great. It's some of the best food you're ever going to have. We're serious this time. Watch the credits and go to this place pronto, because this food cannot be beat, not even by your own mother. We don't mean to insult you. But this food is wonderful.
It is across state lines, but it's worth it.
It's worth the trip.
Hey, ladies! What do you think? Is that a good Jerry Lewis? Hey, ladies!
Okay.
Okay, well, hey, ladies, gentlemen, antelopes, other zoo creatures. We'll see you all back here on Showtime in half an hour less than 2 weeks. Channel 34, 9:30 p.m. Fridays. Hey, Thomas. That was it. That's our special show. So what is the final synopsis?
Final synopsis, America, to the question of is O.J. Simpson guilty or innocent of bad acting? The final synopsis is O.J.'s not so bad. In these movies, he's not the worst actor out there. Sometimes you wonder if he just didn't really get a chance, because he has very few speaking lines. They mostly have him run around and do physical things, but he doesn't seem that awful. As much as I want to bash, I have to say that he comes across as an average actor as opposed to a terrible actor. That guy over there.
That guy!
What's that guy think?
That guy!
What do you think?
You, Dr. Bob!
What does he think?
I think I'm going to throw up.
Hey, Tom, you mind holding the TV a while? I'm getting sick of it.
No, I refuse to hold the TV. Hold the pizza.
Look, Tom, I'm sick of this crap. Seriously, just hold the goddamn TV. It's tiring me out.
Fuck you. And the horse you came in on, Paolo. This is Showtime Video Review, and I'm in charge, see?
Okay, it's like 1, 2, 3, chill. A little bit of Nesto, Paolo. Here's my intro in stereo. I'm neither hither nor thither, but I'm coming at you.
Hey, stop rapping, you fuck.
Okay, sorry about that, but this TV's getting awfully heavy.
You gonna try out for the Mod Squad? Yeah. So what is this fascination with showing off your out-of-control pubic neck hair every episode anyway? Have you ever thought about keeping the pubicity to a minimum? Have you ever thought that you'd be a celeb if you just cover up some more of that ugly bod? Wow, Joe, you said something intelligent. Yeah, you screwed up, huh? You misread something? Oh, you plagiarized. We're shocked that you would plagiarize something correctly. Yeah. Take a look at that food so we can maybe get your whole head in this shot. Yeah. Here you go. Look, America, the hair does stop. Looks like he's going to be spitting up any second. Mmm, nothing like fresh baked bread. How was the bread last Tuesday? Ah, pastry man. Mmm.